Boria Majumdar is live with us from Kolkata. Good morning, Boria. Spirited performance there. Germany, forced to really battle it out till the very end, and they finally scored.
Algeria exceeded expectations, Shiv, no question. I mean, I was totally impressed by the Algerian performance. 90 minutes, no goals, and they actually gave the Germans a run for their money. To even come back 2-0 down and score that one goal takes a lot of doing against the most fancied opponent of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Very impressive performance from the Algerians. Not so much from Nigeria maybe, but Algeria will definitely go back with heads held high.
Boria, 22 shots on target for Germany and just 2 goals. Was it just a bad day for them?
It was a bad day for Thomas Müller. I mean, there is no doubt about it. Having said that, you've got to give credit to the Algerian goalkeeper. Some of those saves, Rishika, were absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, real long rangers, powerful shots, but fantastic goalkeeping. This was an inspired Algerian side. Whether it's the spectre of 1982, whatever you want to call it, whether it's the fact that they made it to the pre-quarters of the World Cup for the first time, something was triggering that team on to take the Germans on and give them a run for their money. And they did. 120 minutes against the German side 2-1. It is definitely a performance Algerian football will be proud of.
And the Algerians, stood a pretty good chance, didn't they, Boria? Had they converted, they could have, perhaps made it potentially. Correct. In fact, they did come close. In fact, the German goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer, saved quite an important, on a number of occasions actually. And he's a top draw act, there's no question. So the Algerians did come close. That's what I'm saying, Shiv. It was not all defense. They were not going on the defensive, and they were not allowing the Germans to sort of rule rampage over them. They were really fighting hard and giving the Germans a run for their money. That, for me, exceeded expectations. I did not expect the Algerians to play so well, but this is what the World Cup is all about. You and I have been talking about it, that it is about the underdogs. The gap has now narrowed down between the top and the middle half of the draw.
Well, it is about the underdogs, and no wonder, the German coach in a press conference after the match said that this is not a walk in the park World Cup. Do you think Germany really has it in them to make it all the way?
Yes, they do. I mean, there is no question it's a top draw side. And all of these victories that they are now coming through, Rishika, it'll harden them. And now they have a top competition against France, but France is an equally heavyweight. And the Germans psychologically have always done well against France. If you see history, 1982, the fancied Platini side was upset. Over the years, the Germans have done well against France. But the question is, there it's not like Algeria. They are not expected to sort of steamroll France. It's a battle of equals. I do think the Germans have it in them to go all the way.
Well, definitely it is a battle of the equals, and therefore it was not as comfortable as the scoreline suggests, but France eventually broke Nigeria's brave resistance to secure a place in the quarterfinals.
The French team have definitely been a revelation, Boria. No one expected them, to get this far. What do you think?
And without Franck Ribéry, their talisman. So yes, definitely. But the group that France was in was the easiest in the World Cup, Shiv. Ecuador, Honduras, not the greatest of teams. It was a real tough one against Nigeria, so they got past. And if you see the performance, I mean, the French came close on a number of occasions. After the performance against Argentina, I thought Nigeria would come close. But they were not that great yesterday. The attack with Musa wasn't that effective. But this, for me, has been the World Cup of the goalkeepers. Ochoa for Mexico, Anyama for Nigeria, the goalkeeper from Algeria. This has been an absolute stunning World Cup for goalkeepers. They've just risen to the occasion, isn't it? I mean, the French came close, but one expected France to win. So it's not as if it's a surprise, but now is the real test. Can they go past Germany? Because they've had it easy so far, but now can they go past actual favorites of this World Cup? That will be the match to watch out for.
You say that this hasn't really sprung up a surprise, but the scoreline suggests that it wasn't a very comfortable win, for France. So were France bad or were Nigeria just better?
France was mediocre. Nigeria could have been better. So you're right in saying that. But if you see again, I mean, the number of strikes on goal and the way the Nigerian goalkeeper rose up to the occasion was spectacular. Karim Benzema was saved from that goal line technology. The number of shots were saved by the goalkeeper. So the French could have converted many more.
So you have to say that Nigeria did it okay, but the attack was lacking, which is what Nigeria sort of showed us against Argentina. That was lacking. But the question now is Brazil, Colombia, Germany, France, mouth-watering quarterfinals of the World Cup 2014.
Well, mouth-watering doesn't really put it better, Boria. You know, they've had it easy so far. France, they've been in an easy group. They've had it easy, at least so far in the World Cup. But that quarterfinal, Germany versus France, is going to be, it's going to be a cornerstone. It's going to be, perhaps the first big match to watch out for.
100%. I mean, Brazil-Colombia is a top game. I would even say Colombia against Brazil and then France versus Germany. What an encounter it will be.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
Well, so that promises to be a blockbuster clash in the quarterfinals. Three-time champions Germany up against 1998 winners France. That match will be on the 4th of July at the Maracana Stadium. It's one match you simply don't want to miss.
Welcome back. Over to some off-field news now. Luis Suarez has finally apologized for his biting row.
Who is now back home in Uruguay said he had time to recollect what happened, and the truth is Chiellini suffered the physical result of bite after the collision. For this he deeply regretted and apologizes not just to Chiellini but also the whole football fraternity. Well, that isn't all. Suarez also vowed to the public that such an incident would not be repeated. But the apology has now added more fire to rumours about Suarez's imminent move to Barcelona. Former England captain Gary Lineker had earlier tweeted that the Catalan giants insisted on an apology if the transfer is to proceed. And hours later, Chiellini accepted the apology. This is what Chiellini replied to Suarez, saying it's all forgotten, and also hopes FIFA reduces his suspension. Boria, Suarez finally admitting to what happened. We've been talking about it for so many days. Does this bring a close to this entire affair, or does it make it a little bit worse? Because, the fire over rumors, speculation, the polarization that it has caused shows no signs of abating at this time.
It makes it far worse, Shiv. You're absolutely right. I mean, three straight questions. One, what will the Uruguay coach, the president of the country, and a legend like Diego Forlan will now have to say, who all came to Suarez's defense straight on? Two, the entire Uruguayan media blamed it on the British media and the rest of the world, saying this is a controversy, this is a conspiracy, this is something that has been cooked up by the media and the rest of the world against Suarez because, he's a star and they're trying to sort of push him down. Three, Liverpool has pushed up the transfer fee from 40 million to 80 million, which is why this whole Barcelona thing has now come in, which is why Gary Lineker has tweeted. If there is any truth to this, that he's done it for his move to Barcelona, should this man's suspension be reduced? And final question for Chiellini.
Yeah.
Who the hell is he to say the suspension should be reduced? Ultimately, this is not between him and Suarez that they're playing a football match in his garden party and then say, oh, all forgotten, let's have a glass of wine and share it. This is the World Cup, for God's sake, and behave like two adults. This is not a simple incident that can be forgiven and forgotten, and these people need to rise up to the occasion and take responsibility.
So Chiellini's acceptance of the apology, clearly, Boria, according to you, is no end to this saga.
What is this? I mean, this is ridiculous. Who is he to accept and say, oh, it's all forgotten?
Yeah.
I mean, this is an act committed in public glare, in a World Cup pre-quarter-final. It has, serious ramifications for the game of football. So what Chiellini accepts? Who is he to say FIFA should reduce his suspension? Does that mean that Suarez did not bite? Does that mean that Uruguay people did not try to protect him? Does that mean that this game of football was not brought into disrepute? He should just say, okay, I accept. But to go ahead and give advice to FIFA and say the suspension should be reduced is completely out of turn.
It's completely out of turn, and it has no indications that this controversy is over just yet. So you can bet that Boria and us, we're going to be discussing Suarez for at least the next few days and weeks. Well, now this is one cracker of a match that you can expect. Two-time world champions Argentina take on a very strong Switzerland in the pre-quarter-final match tonight. Look out for that. Both the teams have exactly the opposite style of play, with 4 wins and 2 draws. A record the former is expected to extend. Argentina won all 3 group matches but have not been very impressive. Though Messi pumped in 4 goals in the tournament, including 2 outstanding ones, his best
is yet to come. Switzerland, which have been traditionally solid in its defence, also showed cracks in their match against France. So who will it be? Will Messi mesmerize with his magic, or will Shaqiri shine yet again? Boria, all eyes on Messi at this time. It's been, rough going so far, and now with the added pressure of being in the knockout stage.
Absolutely, and just imagine this, both Shiv and Rishika. This man, every time he plays, we say all eyes on Messi. How old is he? What kind of pressure this man must be suffering every second day of his life. Comparison with Maradona. Can he win you the World Cup? Despite scoring 4 goals, can Messi continue to deliver? It's not a one-man team, but again, today my money will be on Messi because he's a magician. He's an absolute magician who's done it so far, and I think the Argentines will sweep past Switzerland.
Well, Messi may be a magician, but Switzerland is not a bad team either. They rank 6th in the chart, so could an upset be on the cards, Boria?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yes, Switzerland is a decent side, and if you've seen their football over the last decade or so, they have improved. I mean, the last Euros, for example, or now, even this World Cup, they were solid, except that match against France. So while Argentina might not have it easy on the park, but they have a quality team. Angel, Di Maria, Lionel Messi, Aguero will not play, Higuain. These people are expected to go past Switzerland, Rishika. Yes, the Swiss might put up a fight, but at the end of it, they will present Messi with a chocolate to bite and celebrate.
Well, there are mouth-watering quarterfinal matches lined up, and also the Argentina-Switzerland match coming up tonight. Some great World Cup viewing coming right up, and we'll always, every single morning at 8:30, us and Boria will get you the very best match reports and previews. Boria, thanks very much. See you tomorrow.